Hello, everyone, and welcome to Moonride. This is a sort of an emergency reading here because of the New York case against Trump. There are two cases in New York, at least. One of them is civil, and one of them is a criminal case. And I wrote these names down here because I always forget in trance. Alvin Bragg is the new Attorney General for New York, and it looks like he's going to drop the case. Two guys, Dunne and Pomerantz, just quit in protest. Now, we don't know these details for sure. That's what it looks like. And it makes no sense. Why would you continue on this prosecution, go 2 years, get a stamp of approval from a judge that says Trump has to testify and then drop the case? I'm wondering if there's something fishy that's going on. We're also going to take a look at Cyrus Vance. So the other thing that doesn't make any sense is that he just quit. Why? So let's start with Cyrus. All right. Cyrus Vance. Spirit, why did he quit? So I'm kind of asking, did they have some goods on you that were going to make you look bad? And Cyrus Vance is shaking his head, no. He was being strategic. And it's almost like I see him like, okay, there's a point here, there's a point there. He's looking at the future. He was being strategic. It was somewhat important for him to have someone else prosecute because they would appear more neutral. If it was a different prosecutor, somehow it would be a new event. And I mean, I'm going to say to his credit, he wanted an African-American to do it. He wanted to give an African-American the power to prosecute Trump. Yeah, it partly was because of this. He was, he believed he was completely qualified for the job, but there was part of it that he thought this would be a way to sort of equal the balance. And, he should be commended for this. But he is very surprised. He's shocked about what happened. He's shocked and he's very angry. And he got on the phone right away. Right away, he got on the phone with, I think it's Alvin Bragg. Bragg, I think so. And he got on the phone with him right away. And he read him the Riot Act. And he is a little bit suspicious. Maybe more than a little bit suspicious. Let's take a look at this guy, Bragg, and let's see what Alvin's up to. Why would you do it? As something not trustworthy. He just gives me this kind of Cheshire Cat smile that makes me think there's more going on here. Yeah, puppet masters. There are puppet masters controlling what he does. He got in there sideways. He got in there in that role because he knew he was going to kill the case beforehand. He knew it. Again, I'm just seeing full-on puppet masters controlling him. There's some benefit to him, and there is some harm to him if he doesn't toe the line. If he, I don't know. Well, are they gonna? Yeah, they've got something on him. There are some, never forget that Trump is basically the mafia, and he's not just basically the mafia. He works with mafioso. Giuliani worked with Russian mafioso. All of those guys are very active. You can't build a building in New York without dealing with the mafia. So they just called it, they just asked their friends for some help this time around. And they found some goods on him. I don't think that's the only reason, though. There's some benefit to him. There's something that he's going to get out of this. I swear to God, it looks like a building. Like that's what they're going to give him. And there's something about this I'm a landlord, kind of. He's always wanted to be a landlord. It's that kind of, just very simple sort of, it's just a deal. It's just money. And I mean, it's not just a building, like it's a couple of them. That's his dream. He's always wanted to be in control like that. He's always wanted to have people pay him rent instead of the other way around. He's always wanted to have that kind of power because when he was a kid, there was a lot of nervousness around paying the rent. And he always felt like a sort of second-class citizen. So, and, what did he see in these managers of buildings, these owners of buildings, but total corruption. So why shouldn't he be corrupt? Everything. He's like, come on, it's nothing but corruption. Who are you kidding? Huh. And very interesting. He's like puts on a suit of 2 different colors. So he shows maybe one side to the world, but one side is secret. Oh, somebody's got a drug problem. I tell you, I always see a needle, and the needle always means some kind of addiction. I think he's got some kind of addiction. And I think they've got pictures of him doing this addiction stuff. Like he went to a party and, did some white powder and somebody took a picture. So part of the reason that he does this is to save his reputation. Cyrus Vance was completely blindsided by this. He had no idea. He never in a million years dreamed that this would happen. And he is pounding the table right now. He is kicking himself. So let's look at Dunne and Pomerantz. What do you guys know? Like, gosh, we figured this one out. We know what's going on there. I don't think they know about the money, but they know about the cocaine. They know that this guy's addicted to, I mean, I'm guessing it's cocaine. It looks like what he's doing. And they knew about it, but they couldn't prove it. And they did not think that it would, a person could do drugs once and get caught and not be addicted, and that's their problem, and whatever's going on. But they did not believe originally that it would affect the ultimate application of the laws. They are very determined to let people know that the situation is wrong. So let the situation, take heart in the fact that these 2 people, again, it's like other characters, Blasey Ford, all of these people, despite the fact that it's really difficult, their lives are going to be really hard for telling the truth. They do believe in justice to such a great degree that they're willing to go there. They are fed up. They're absolutely disgusted. They're telling me, we didn't sign up for this. When we decided to work for the district attorney, we did not do it because we were corrupt. We did it because we thought that you could get some justice out of this. And they still think that they can get some justice out of this. They're doing it because if they turn the focus back on Biggs or Briggs, Alvin, let's call him Alvin, that they think that he might have to proceed with the case. And at very least, this guy will be exposed for the person that he is. Those like movies with sword fights, like Three Musketeers sword fights, they're kind of fighting around this issue. So it is 2 against 1, it's not a fair fight, but they are justified in it. They're righteous. They hold their swords like this, right? And that this was a great decision. Because it will inspire change. People are going to look at him very carefully. And let's go ahead and go back and look at Biggs or Briggs again. What's going to happen with him? And Trump, I am almost getting directly, is putting a lot of pressure on him. It's not directly, it's almost directly. It's like a couple steps away, a couple people away. So he's getting the pressure. He's in a really tough spot. But the good news is, I think he has to move forward. He can't drop the case. And if he is exposed now, it will become very clear who is blackmailing him. So he's wondering if now his position is a safer position, but he's not certain. He's getting a lot of pressure still to keep the lid on it. And I'm just going to ask, is there any reason to drop this case? Is there any reason why it wouldn't succeed? Sometimes people saying, hey, it's really hard to prove. You got to prove that Trump knew about it. Well, you can still prosecute the other people. And if they refuse to speak, okay, fine. Maybe you're the lieutenant, but you're still going to spend the rest of your life in jail. And that way you send a message to anyone like you kiss up to your criminal boss. Well, fine, you're going to go to jail for the rest of your life. So why not prosecute? There's just no reason why not. But maybe I'm missing something. Why not? Why? There's no reason. He's just looking over his shoulder. He is being blackmailed. And he's in a very untenable position right now. He can neither move forward nor can he move back. He can't prosecute. He can't not prosecute. All right, what's going to happen around him? I mean, is the city of New York going to do anything? New York State, I guess it would be. Are they going to do anything? And you know what? I could be wrong. I keep saying Attorney General, or I think the Attorney General is only federal. The lead prosecutor, it might just be Manhattan. I don't know exactly his title. What are they going to do? I see a sun rising, and he is looking exposed, right? So it's like the light's hitting his eyes and it's blinding him. So something's going to come out that exposes him and makes it clear what he was doing, and that he was being blackmailed. This is really serious stuff. Like, this guy the blackmail is so great that he might harm himself. He might try to take his life. So what's the city going to do? Again, sun rising. It exposes him. He stands under the bright sun. He's wearing a full suit and he's starting to really sweat. And he's looking at it and he's going to be like, this is going to be every day for the rest of my life. I'm constantly going to be under this kind of pressure. So will he resign? No, he won't resign. Not yet, anyway. He will think about it. There's just a complete revolt going on of the people underneath him. He's made several other really bad decisions, but all of the people in the prosecutor's office are just, infuriated. Like he walks in the door and they're ready to start screaming at him. I think that actually there are situations where people have stood up and started to say, hey, in the middle of the meeting, no way, we're not listening to you anymore. They're talking to the FBI. Everybody is scrutinizing him. No one's ever going to trust him again. This man is in very serious trouble, more than people realize. He is desperate. Okay, now I'm seeing a noose. Again, I don't know if he harms himself somehow or whether this is, they're coming after him. I think it's a little bit more likely that he would harm himself. Yeah, and again, you guys, entertainment purposes only. I don't want to prescribe this future. I'm merely telling what I see. But I don't know if he's going to survive this, like physically survive. Something doesn't survive. I mean, it might be that he lives, but part of his soul goes and is buried. I don't know, but I see something being buried. Again, I don't wish this on anyone. We all have our lifetimes to live and our challenges, but he is so wrapped up in problems. It's like a spiral. It just gets bigger and bigger. The problems get bigger and bigger, and he's having more and more trouble getting out of them. All right, so let's just clear that out. What happens to this case? Well, I see some scales, and the scales of justice go wonk. So does that mean Trump's winning or losing? Okay, so here's Trump, here's the scales, and he keeps putting his hand on the scales and pressing it, but somehow he can't reach it. He tries to put his hand on the scale again, and it slips away from his grasp, mostly because he's so sweaty. I think he's sweating a lot of problems right now. He's just sweating them, and there's just too many things on Trump's mind. He can't manage all of the, he can't manage all of these different suits. Okay, so it does seem like the scales are rebalancing. Spirit, is Trump going to get away with it? I'm getting a no. He's not going to get away with it. Trump is actually looking at me, and he's looking really downcast. Yeah, I see all these terrible things he's done, and he always got away with it. Nobody ever stops him. And this is a message, if we continue to allow people to do the things that Trump did. I mean, New York can only hold itself to blame. They continue to allow this to happen again and again and again. They never prosecute. They always wimp out. That laws are unfair. I mean, in some sense, they can't prosecute anyone because the laws are so unfair. You do something minor and, you smoke marijuana in Texas, you'll go to jail. But if you steal hundreds of millions of dollars from the American taxpayer, As long as you got a lawyer who can delay and delay, as long as you're rich and powerful, as long as you pull strings, you never get prosecuted. This has got to change. And again, on the lighter side, these two remarkable people, and that's Dunne and Pomerantz, and I mean, even to put in, I think Cyrus Vance, because I think that he was well-intentioned here, that it is causing people to step forward. Those people gave up their jobs, their livelihoods. They're taking on a lot of pressure. They're risking a lot. These people, it must have some pretty clean records. They must be going in with clean hands. There's nothing to you can't blackmail those guys, or they wouldn't have taken the stand that they did. So I know this is very distressing. This was that one case we were all certain was going to succeed. It's basically a tax case. It's just numbers. Doesn't matter whether you love or hate Trump. It's just numbers. Either he stole it or he didn't. You can show him. You can show this, and sure, you can argue, "Oh, I didn't know about it." But come on. I mean, what person in New York thinks that he didn't know about that? He also had a tax firm that could give evidence about this. It's a no-brainer case in my opinion. At the very least, you prosecute it with at your considering the amount of money you just spend. At the very least, you put his assistant. I think it's Weiselberg. I kind of want to say Weaselberg, but he, at the very least, he should be compelled to go to court. At the very least, he should stand trial. At the very least, they should all be compelled to testify. I don't understand in our society why we have the Fifth Amendment. These days, I don't see any purpose to the Fifth Amendment that's at all beneficial. It just means that people get to get away with things. Why have such a law? But it is in our Constitution, and until it's removed, we really can't do anything around that. But at the same time, the good thing is we're all focusing on these wrongs, which aren't just an aberration. They're part of a whole system. There are thousands and thousands of Trumps getting away with thousands and thousands of financial crimes. All of us pay twice the amount in taxes that we would if corporations paid their fair share. They paid what they're supposed to pay. We all would pay much less, and we'd pay virtually nothing if we didn't have wars like the fake war in Iraq. And I say fake, I don't mean that was fake. I mean it was based on falsehoods. So we're all being compelled to look at these issues for a reason. And if you feel very angry about that, I commend you. You should. This is the transformative process by which we stop what is wrong, right? So don't be mired in anger. Don't let the anger become hatred. Maybe that's not serving you or the universe. And you do want to put politics in a separate compartment to some degree. Don't let it stop you from pursuing your spiritual goals. That is another thing that we're all learning. We can do these things and follow justice without becoming hateful and horrible people. We can also do these things and at the same time go, that is the real world. That is what's going on. And I have my own life and I can move forward in a spiritual way. So notice what you're learning and trust that justice will eventually be done. The universe is, showing us the truth. It is now up to us to manage that. We're never going to be humans and have everything stop. It's not like we're going to just go back to the Garden of Eden at any time. We're always going to have these terrible problems. We're always going to have to go through understanding them. We're also have free will. We're going to fail sometimes. But light is being shed on these issues for a reason. The most obvious no-brainer case is even that is not being prosecuted because people are powerful and rich and pull strings and blackmail and work with the mafia. So one question is, how do we proceed? Don't forget this kind of duality that I've just mentioned. You can be a happy spiritual person And you can be a political person too. You can be angry without being hateful. You can move forward and insist on this kind of prosecution, and that doesn't make you a not spiritual person. You can do both at the same time. Thanks so much for watching.